Good hair is healthy hair, and a lot of us are on this journey to length, and in order to achieve length, you need health, and health requires maintenance, even in protective styles such as this. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Nishay. Welcome. If not, thank you for tuning back in. I appreciate you. If you have issues such as dandruff, psoriasis, eczema, or just general itchiness, you might be wondering how to care for your scalp without messing up your hairstyle. In this video, I'm going to share some of my tips, tricks, and hacks to keep your mini twist in your scalp healthy. As we all know, I do have a scalp condition and I enjoy installing long-term protective styles such as mini twists. There are certain steps that one must take every day to keep the hair and scalp fresh and clean. Now let's talk about scalp care. I am an advocate of washing your scalp, okay? Cleanse your scalp, wash your hair, get that product buildup off, but you really want to listen to your scalp, listen to your hair. Only wash when needed. You don't want to overwash because that can cause dryness. But you also don't want to wait too long to wash, as that can cause product buildup. So you really want to be in tune with your body, in tune with your hair, and in tune with your scalp. Know the signs that present itself when your scalp needs to be cleansed. If my hair feels gunky, if I'm experiencing a lot of itchiness, but when I look at my scalp, it's not really dry, it's flaky and itchy, but it's not dry. Also, if it smells, if you have a sour smelling scalp, even if you put products on it, your hair doesn't really smell like the products, it just smells kind of sour. That's usually a telltale sign that it's time to cleanse. Here are some ways to keep your scalp clean without overwashing. You can use a gentle, sulfate-free clarifying shampoo or a medicated shampoo for your scalp condition. I like to use the Ketoconazole Shampoo. I have one that was prescribed by my dermatologist, but Nizoral also has a Ketoconazole shampoo that is awesome. Nizoral also has a salicylic acid shampoo that is really great as well. I have a review of the salicylic acid shampoo on my channel. Feel free to check it out so you can see how I use it and how it works. I finished that entire bottle. Usually if you have products, you know, you'll use it and you realize it stops working and you switch to something else, but I actually used that entire bottle of shampoo. Nizoral has some really great products. Feel free to check them out. I wash my hair every 1 to 2 weeks. It just depends on how it's feeling. If I notice that I have a lot of product buildup, I applied a lot of product to my hair during the week, I'll wash it every single week. Ideally, I try to go every 2 weeks. I try not to go longer than that because during that 3rd week, my scalp starts screaming, okay? I installed this style, and when I installed it, I used braid gel and things like that on my hair and scalp, and I noticed that my scalp didn't really take too well to it. So I noticed there was a lot of product buildup. My scalp started to smell sour within a week. So I did wash my hair after 1 week of installing it. After washing it out, I applied lighter products. I avoided gels. I only did my sprays, and I was able to go 2 weeks before having to wash my hair in this style again. If putting your head under running water and drenching your hair is not an option, you can also try a cleansing tonic or a dry wash or things like witch hazel. So there is a dry wash by Jamaican Mango and Lime that I really enjoy using. I have a review for that dry wash as well. Feel free to check it out. It's really great for long-term protective styles, and it's really good for cleansing the hair and scalp without stripping it, without making it feel dry. It is alcohol free, and it actually uses micellar water to cleanse the hair and scalp. I especially like to use the dry wash just to clean my edges at night because I don't like things like heavy gels sitting on my hair or scalp overnight. You know how sometimes edge control can get on the base of the braids in the front? That can lead to excessive product buildup over time, and it can cause to flaky and itchy edges, and I tend to get flare-ups right around the hairline. So I really want to make sure I give those parts TLC. Now, if you're more of a DIY, naturopathic girly, you can try witch hazel. You can put it on a washcloth and just really rub it on your scalp, rub it on your edges to carefully lift the product and remove any buildup. Maybe go in after with a really lightweight oil just to put a little moisture back on there, just in case anything was stripped. So next, you want to use scalp treatments. I have been really into using scalp serums over the past year, and it's been a game changer for me. The one I like to use is the Divi scalp serum. It is amazing. If you want to hear more about it, I can definitely do a review on it and just talk about my experience with the product. I'm already on my 3rd and 4th bottles. Okay? Anything that you apply to your scalp, you really want to make sure that it has a good applicator tip, whether it's a dropper that has a long nozzle or if it's in a bottle with a nozzle tip, so that you can avoid using your fingers to apply things. You really just want a precision applicator to apply things to your scalp so that you can avoid anything messing up your roots. You can also use things like a spray bottles. The braid spray I like to use is the Sulfur 8 braid spray. It's amazing. It also helps to lift the hair in your hand. Use a spray bottle so you can apply the spray directly to your scalp without the hair getting in the way. You also really want to focus on problem areas. My problem areas tend to be my hairline in the front, the nape of my neck. I also get some patches here and there in the middle. If you have specific problem areas, maybe massage in the product a little more. On a day where you feel like you do have a lot of product build up, but your scalp is a little dry, focus putting the scalp spray or the scalp treatment only on the area where you're experiencing issues and gently massage it in. And you want to use your fingertips, not your nails. When you are massaging, use your fingertips, not your nails. And especially if you're experiencing irritation or itchiness, the skin is sensitive. Using the nails can be very abrasive and it can traumatize that skin, making the symptoms worse. And with your fingertips, you can also feel what you're doing. You want to make sure you're rubbing your scalp, not your hair. When you're rubbing, you want to make sure you're feeling skin. If you are rubbing your hair, you can cause unnecessary frizziness, unnecessary tangling. And massaging with your fingertips can also help with absorption. That skin to skin contact between your fingertips and your scalp can really help the treatment, the oil, whatever it is that you are applying, it can help it absorb easier. And they say a good scalp massage takes at least 20 minutes, and a lot of us don't really have 20 minutes in our day to just focus on rubbing our scalp. So do what you can, just make sure you are doing it well. A pro tip, if you are using a medicated scalp treatment, I personally like to use mine in the morning so that it can absorb throughout the day. My scalp is protected when I'm out in the elements. However, if you do prefer to use it at night, I would suggest applying it at least 30 minutes before you tie down your hair and go to bed so that it has time to absorb and you're not just going to sleep with wetness on your scalp, because that can be a breeding ground for bacteria. Now, some scalp friendly oils. If you are a DIY girly and you tend to make your own hair products, I would suggest tea tree oil. So it is advised to dilute it in a carrier oil or any other carrier substance. So it has antifungal properties that help with dandruff, and it has this awesome minty tingly feeling that I just absolutely love. Another good one is peppermint oil. It soothes itchiness and it can stimulate growth. This is another oil that can be a little bit on the stronger side, so you will want to dilute it. Another good one is jojoba oil. I've tried using jojoba oil and my scalp didn't really take too well to it, but if your scalp loves jojoba oil, that can be the carrier oil that you use with the tea tree oil and or with the peppermint oil. Jojoba oil, it does mimic sebum, which is the natural oil our scalp, our skin produces, so it can really help with dryness. And lastly, aloe vera gel. I do suggest making this yourself. Making natural aloe vera gel is the best way to go. It cools irritation and it can add moisture. You can add some aloe vera gel to your water. You can spray it on your hair. Make sure you store it in the fridge. I like to use it as a hair mask. Apply it on my hair and on my scalp, let it sit, and then I rinse it out. Even though they're low maintenance, they are not no maintenance, okay? Mini twists and other long-term protective styles still require some TLC, especially if you have a scalp condition, to keep the hair and scalp fresh and clean. Let me know in the comments if you deal with any scalp issues while protective styling, such as dryness, irritation, itching, any sort of scalp condition. Let's build a community and help each other. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when the next video goes live. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. God bless.